Hello, and welcome to another Wargame cast with me, Rangru. And today we have another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament. And well, on the left hand side in the blue, we have ourselves a Greyhound playing as a Eurocore motorized deck. And on the right hand side in red, we have Krot playing as USSR standard deck. So some nice deck changes compared to the standard Finnish Polish stuff that we've been seeing this past run, and wouldn't be a classic USSR match without doing some sort of MLRS play at the start of the match to try and deal a bit of damage, and deal a little bit of damage it has. Not too much, just really slowing down the forces more than anything. But this would be a pretty interesting matchup. I do like seeing motorized and mechanized. It really is any sort of specialized division being used. It's not just a tank deck per se. Especially if Eurocore, as you have a lot of very lovely light tanks and lightly armored vehicles and good infantry. But, against the standard USSR, you are lacking a little bit in terms of dedicated anti-tank. You're going to rely more on the airplanes and helicopters and infantry TGMs to keep those pesky T-80s at bay, and as we're seeing quite a little bit of air power, the Tiger or Tigra does go down, and we're also seeing a pretty offensive push here from Greyhound trying to take the Foxtrot flank. Rest of the map is pretty quiet on both sides, a very scratch defense in the center from Greyhound. But it seems like Krot is not going to try and exploit that. He probably doesn't even know what's yet. And seeing how things are going down south, he is wanting to get reinforcements here to try and halt this Eurocore push. We're seeing a lot of those AMX-10s, and Greyhound has a lot of AMXs in his decks. 10s, 13s, 30Bs. French really like AMX. What's just going on over here? Oh! Sneaky little hindplay, Mi-24 VP. A very important helicopter. Is he going to try and do a CV snipe with this? I think he's going to try and do a CV snipe, and there's no anti-air at spawn here. And the same, not really the same thing, this is more of an airplane play. As we do have the Peace Shrine and the KW. Keeping the skies clear. I'm guessing he's just waiting for the perfect opportunity. It always amazes me, just coming back to the Wargame cast, is how much dead space is in the map. Like, it probably wouldn't be a fun area to fight over in a standard battle, it's just hills and trees. But it's pretty cool nonetheless, especially aesthetically speaking. Yeah, it's really just a bit of a skirmish between Foxtrot. The main thing is Krot does have the factory complex under his control. He's been trying to get an ATGM troop into Yassi, not the best ATGM, but again, it's a motorized division, or division deck I should say. It's what you really need. There we go, the Mi-24 VP is coming in. The F4 is going to intercept, but it's a Hind. It's a pretty tanky helicopter. You can almost say it's a flying tank. But I do like how Greyhound is hedging his bets here. I think he was going to try to bring it into Foxtrot, but spawning that in right now is definitely helpful. In case it was to get sniped. But as you can see, the F4 Phantom comes in and finishes off the job. So definitely a little bit of a race to points here. That flank, it could have gone better for Krot, of course. Yeah, looking at the points, it's a +2 to Krot. He's really going to bring in his CV into Delta now I think about it. That'd be the much better option. We're wondering if Krot is going to try to do any maneuvers into Delta here. He's getting a little bit more infantry. He also has the ATGMs, which is not ATGMs, the MLRS. So many acronyms on your fighting in the code draw you have to remember. He knows where the FOB is, and I guess he's gonna try and blow it up. It's gonna be a pretty tall order. Or maybe he's just trying to hunt the CV and get the CV snipe. Oh, those were actually pretty good hits on the FOB, not gonna lie. Knocked out over half its HP. I guess the CV snipe is one thing, but the FOB snipe you can actually make pretty good work knocking out all that supply pretty early on. I don't really think FOB is super vital really for a motorized deck. It's not like you have super heavy tanks which you need to keep constantly repaired and up-armed. It's more of a pain for your artillery and anti-aircraft missile pieces. Yeah, it's pretty light play. I was seeing a BMPT being brought in, I should say, and we all should know that the BMPT is one of the greatest vehicles ever designed. There's so much stacker on that bloody thing, you'd think it come from the Orcs in 40k. Yeah, Greyhound is really amassing. Not really amassing. A lot of these fabs were from earlier, but he does have a decent amount of forces trying to get a foothold into Foxtrot, but Krot's in a lovely defensive position. He has another BMPT down south here and a T-80. It's going to be very hard to cross the open field to get into the factory. He's really going to need ATGM troops to try and get, anything there. The BMPT is going to annihilate anything that comes across, as you can clearly see. I guess the Peace Shrine, he's going in for the Maverick run. Doesn't get the kill. The BMPT has its thick frontal armor of 15 AV, which is fantastic for a vehicle. I've seen a little bit of air superiority. Just a good old MiG-25. There's the second Peace Shrine, and it's very good at Greyhound is focusing so much on using his ATGM planes are pretty damn vital. Trying to knock out any annoying armored threats. He does lose it. He does not want to be losing that. But he does have 2 cards of them in his deck. Or 4 in total. It's not completely buggered, but still, not something you want to be losing. Yeah, just, a very small amount of infantry here is going to be enough to hold a factory. Of course, the armoured vehicles are definitely helping out a bit, but just having the Spetsnaz grooves, the snipers, a pretty good standoff against anything that dares across the open field. There we go, MLRS strike onto the infantry. Very surprised he hasn't tried to knock out the FOB. I guess is more of a prominent threat. Seems to be a very aggressive ATGM position in here from Greyhound. Maybe he's just using it for the actual rockets. Well, he can't use it much longer. The OSHA came in and said hello with missiles. It's a very loud way to say hello, as you can't really miss that greeting. The BMPT down, the T-80 only left. It might be enough for Greyhound to overwhelm this southern flank. I mean, on this map, it's not a whole lot of options for you to attack, and Greyhound is really putting all his bets down here. Here we are seeing an Mi-24 VP and an Mi-8. Fortunately for Greyhound, he has a Krot in the area, and that thing's pretty damn good at shooting down helicopters, if I recall. The Ron Sniper in that Gru squad is probably having a field day of the amount of targets heading his way. The Mi-8 is doing a fantastic job of knocking out a lot of that infantry. What's this? Commando's Power is doing a wee bit of a sneaky flank. It wouldn't be a wargame match without people trying to CV snipe each other. Fortunately for Krot, he does have ETR ZD, the thing of the anti-aircraft guns that shoot a lot of bullets. And Krot PKTs, I always forgot about it. It's like 4 machine guns on it. It's a lot of bloody firepower in that small little vehicle, but it doesn't matter, and the Frenchman comes around with a Lorek run? Is it a really weird rocket launcher I frankly know nothing about? Kinda looks like a Super Soaker. Yeah, Krot's still doing pretty good. He does have a large point lead over Greyhound thanks to just having Alpha for so long, so early on. He does have Bravo captured, but Charlie CV was... I think he was forced to relocate, yeah. They're knocking out this... What's he doing with it? There we go. But Greyhound has managed to get a CV onto Foxtrot just in time to stop any potential point bleed. That would not be ideal. We're finally getting some sniper ammo. One sniper in that squad has been doing a lot of work. Finally we're seeing some smoke. Smoke probably would have been much more useful earlier on in trying to make these pushes happen. It's pretty hard to snipe someone when there's a bunch of smoke in front of you. Unless you have thermal scopes, but this is the 80s, or I guess 90s we're talking about here. They weren't super common. Especially in the Soviet Union, and no one goddamn Soviet night vision scopes in their rifles. Big bloody thing on that they put on the AKs. I know that thing was a piece of trash. We're now seeing the CV being... Seems like it's going to be snuck into Bravo here. The BTR-90 is in a position to potentially intercept it, but it does not have line of sight. That would have been a really good kill. But I think this BTR-90 is going to run into fuel issues more into... Not sure, other issues. Probably getting blown up. That can be a pretty big issue for people fighting on the battlefield. I'm wondering when Greyhound is trying to do another push of infantry, because he doesn't have a lot in here right now. And to really cross this open field, I feel like you're going to need a bunch. You're also going to need a bunch of tank support and continue with smoke. I do like the constant smoke barrage here. We do have a CV in here from Foxtrot, a T-80 UK, which is going to be a pretty hard thing to knock out. I mean, that thing is essentially just a frontline tank. A very good frontline tank. You're also seeing the Pouch Maker's 90s, which came around to flank here. We've had clockwork guns and MG3s. But those G11s don't do too much when there's an Mi-24 VP just in the sky. Planes usually decrease the life expectancy of people nearby them. Yeah, it's just going to clear up that entire push. Yeah, it could have gone rail. But there's just too much in the area. We got the Vap here. Could actually get a good flank on the Hind. Does have those lovely autocannons. Hind gets one. Hind gets a second. You do not match with Hind your 30mm cannon. Seriously. It gets a big bloody gun. I've seen some BMP2s. But Krot is in a... He's opened this factory really well. Now his command vehicle is taken to the fray. Probably want to try and move it back into cover, because I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, a peace line comes in. You're just going to move it behind the factory here. That's a block line of sight. Yep. Here we are for the BMP2. Gets the kill for the Yak. Yak goes down, yo. That's another peace shrine, which won't be... Well, it's going to be very peaceful on the ground, really. Kind of a funny name for an aircraft. Calling it, like the Peace Rhine. Peace is like... It's not going to really be committing peaceful actions. But here we go. This is what Greyhound needs. Just a bunch of Panthers. But not of the 50-ton variety with 75mm guns. No, the flying kind. And the flying kind are pretty damn good. And yeah, just the overwhelming force, yeah, a little shocker show. Moving in listen Legion 90s into a very good position to get Eric shots. The Hind coming in hasn't managed to rearm or resupply that much, but he's needed now in the front line. Peace Rhine gets the T-80 UK kill. And Roller Krot get the snipe. Oh, he's gonna get the MA8. Yeah, he goes. That bloody came out of nowhere. And Greyhound now has the entirety of Foxtrot under his foxy control. That's definitely going to turn the tables. There's still 20 minutes left in this match, and Greyhound can now get a very nice and steady +1 point advantage. This is really going to push Krot to either A, push into Delta, which I think is going to happen, just due to months of angry Russians staging in this forest, or B, he could try to take Bravo. But that's a big open field between you and the enemy has missiles, so that's something that I would rather avoid if I was Krot. But he does have 2 BMPTs, and you can solve a lot of problems with 2 BMPTs. I love this vehicle so much, it's my goddamn favourite. I know the ones in Wargame are technically a prototype version of the BMPT, as the BMPT model the Russian military uses today is essentially just a headless T-72 with a bunch of cannons. But it's not as cool as just this thing. There's such a... I just bloody love the look of it. I cannot shut up about BMPTs. And it has such a good name. The Terminator tank. Or APC Terminator. You also got BTRTs, which are also fantastic. Really, you can just make any vehicle fantastic by putting an automatic grenade launcher on top. And this is working really well for Krot as he managed to get into Delta. And the nice thing about this side of Delta is that there's quite a bit of forest to hide CVs. And the BMPTs can actually fight off the AMX's pretty well, as it's only light armor on Greyhound's side. He's only playing a motorized deck. Yeah, Legion 90s, you probably wish you didn't shot. Here we go, we got BRDM2 being brought in, so... You know, on one hand, capturing Foxtrot was pretty good for Greyhound. On the other, he's gonna need to try and fight over Delta now. This is really gonna be the mainstay of the match. We're getting a counter push from Krot into Foxtrot. It's still a T-80, he is just a sneeze away from blowing up. It's sort of pretty good push here from Krot. You got the Fuchs Milans, but only of the Milan F-Rons, which aren't too scary. Still not ideal, but better than getting that from Milan 3. And that Roland 3, which we also probably want to get out of here right now. That is, not super pricey. Anti-aircraft piece, but not one you want to lose nonetheless. Yeah, it's just momentum here from Krot is really well. It's got flamethrower troops in the forest now. It's got all the important APC fire support. Gonna come down to getting that CV in. CV has taken his time. On flamethrowers, she can. There we go. You're trying to get the CV snipe here. Really get the hits. Nope. Completely misses. Those group 2 commands will probably need a new pair of pants. Yeah, Krot has his side of Foxtrot back under his control. Well, he just needs to get CV in, yeah. He's finally repairing that TAT. Definitely could use some more forces, but it's not too bad. I do like his Fuchs Milan here. Oh! He's an ambush, this poor little BRDM, isn't he? Yep. You didn't have a chance, buddy. That was a fantastic position there for Milan. Definitely paid himself off in the end some. Not just in terms of the price efficiency, but you know, keeping Foxtrot under his control. But at the same time, Krot is still getting a +1 lead just due to Delta here, so it's not making too much of a difference, unfortunately. Yeah, Greyhound really needs to get into Delta. I mean, he's in it, but he needs to clear it. That's going to be a hard thing to do. Because there's a lot of angry Russians in here, and the French infantry aren't holding up so well against flamethrowers. Milan, though, yeah, Fuchs Milan finally gets spotted, yeah. Suffers quite a bit of heavy firepower. I think Krot was probably not pleased knowing that his TV somehow got sniped. Panther's getting a little bit too close here. We're seeing another helicopter show from Greyhound, but as much as the Cassiopei's a fantastic aircraft, that's he doing pretty well. Snipes the CV. Okay, never mind, it worked. I need to shut up when things like that happen. He did lose all his helicopters, to be fair. But he got the CV snipe. That's going to give Greyhound an important plus run. But Krot, he's going to slap back in kind. We're just trying to do the classic CV snipes. Will he get hit? Oh, but once again, need some new pantaloons for the infantry inside. You'll forge me at 90. Bloody 30 of them, there we go. That is a serious amount of Germanic firepower. I do love it how Eugene gave him G11s. I mean, there's not really many games that have the G11 in it. Of course, I mean, everyone's seen probably the Forgotten Rap video about it. But it's such a unique gun. And in this game, it's a really good gun. Yeah, it's going to clear up Delta, more importantly. The BMPT's being forced to retreat, knowing that the Fallschirmjäger's there. So Greyhound, he's doing pretty good now. If he can just keep, you know, Foxtrot uncaptured, of course, just pretty much hold these 2 points, he should be able to catch up. There's only 11, like 11 minutes left. No need to get into specifics. He needs to catch up to 30-ish points or so. That's pretty durable. As you do get 1 point every 7 seconds. I believe that was the calculation. Or 5 seconds. I think it's 7. The Greyhound, that's going to be... it's not really pushing, he's just holding on to Delta still. Krot, he knows that he needs to try and neutralize his point bleed. So he's bringing in the BRDM2. He's definitely going to probably want some more infantry. He does have 3 T-80s to potentially back him up. I think if it's Ergen, his best bet is to try and MLRS his forest here and knock out his Fallschirmjägers. It's really the scary force right now. Greyhound is catching up, slowly but surely. Down south is still Krot. main thing. It's still blue for Greyhound. We got Superiors and the BTRTs. Got 2 of the AMXs coming in. A little bit more of a traditional tank force here. Still not the most heavily armoured tank, but it actually has a proper tank gun, which is nice. And an autocannon, because those French... Oh no, it does have the autocannon. Comes the Fallschirmjägers. Taking some heavy fire, yeah, quite literally, from the Superiors and the BTRTs chasing them down. It's also important for Krot. His T-80's in a fantastic position. He knocked out 2 of the AMXs. I think some other stuff also shot it too. But that's all important for Krot, because he's now getting that +1 point lead once again. And he has a pretty good hold on Delta. It's probably going to come down to another helicopter rush. Really, assault. Yeah, assault rush. We can argue about. Yeah, Greyhound is just... Oh, he needs to push in hard. It's not looking too great. He is starting to lose a little bit of control over Foxtrot, losing what was left in that southern forest. It's really just going to come down to Krot getting a CV into Foxtrot, but I don't feel like he's going to do that. I feel like he's just going to be spending all his points and just trying to secure Delta. He has a good points lead. He just has to hold on to Delta. Greyhound is pushing him pretty hard now with the Chasseurs and the Fallschirmjägers coming in once again, but BTRTs are on a deadly spot and the BMPTs as well. I guess you do not mess about. And also Superiors coming in very strong. I think we're just trying to see some CV snipes there of the good old Kaiser or Caesar. Depends on which country you come from. Going on over here, we got a Puma pirate trying to pirate about, but not going to be pirated much, and there's Russian helicopters in the area. Also a really good name for a helicopter. The Caesar snipes are actually getting pretty accurate here. It's only a BRDM too. Can only suffer so much pressure. And that's going to be bringing the +1 back to Greyhound. This is going back and forth pretty often. I wonder if Krot's starting to run out of CVs now. Because he has lost a few BRDM2s in the T-80 UK. He also has command infantry. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, this is not looking good for him now. I mean, he still has some kind of control over Delta. The Fallschirmjägers are pretty heavily damaged. There's not too much other Frenchies and no Germans in there as well. This is a Eurocorps deck. I wonder if he's trying to get CV into the same spot, which I think, frankly, is the best play. Just try to get that +1 point advantage to get any sort of lead, because in 6 minutes, Greyhound does have just the opportunity to barely overtake Krot. I guess even taking Foxtrot under his control would be a good idea as well, as he just needs to stem out points bleed for just a little bit. There we go, T-80 UK, he does have another one of those up his sleeve, and it's probably going to take a little bit to get to the front line. Yeah, I think this is going to get pretty tight here. I think by the time it gets to the front line, it should be pretty even, or just more of an advantage toward Greyhound. We got the Cassiope coming in, hunting down the hip. But hey, I guess Yakron for ones come in pretty handy. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna go. Like, I'm surprised this match has been so back and forth. I was really thinking Krot was, had this in the bag. EV snipes and Delta have been pretty good here from Greyhound side, and he is bringing a lot of reinforcements just trying to secure the bloody area. While Krot really only has tanks in here, and tanks are cool and all, but he can need infantry in a forest fight. At 4 minutes, here we go. Greyhound is in the points lead. That T8 UK needs to get in Delta, and it needs to not die. Not much, but that's what it needs to do. It only has, by the time it gets into the point, it's only going to be, what, 2 minutes left in the match? Yeah, I feel like Greyhound is just going to sliver his way through this. And he's pushing in everything to just try and slow down anything. The commando powers have decent rocket launchers, and same with the Sassers. Yeah, same with the Sassers. It's okay. Sassers runs pretty bad. I really need to read up on French rocket launchers. I have no idea what. I've never really knew what these things are. And you never really see them portrayed in media. And whenever there's a rocket launcher, it's always an RPG or like an American Law or an AT-4. Now, Europeans have some pretty interesting rocket launcher designs. Let's see the Shreeders. But yeah, Greyhound's little push into Delta is going to be enough to secure the point. Plus 1 point lead. He's got this in the bag. Really, I think it's just good use of air power. Not seeing the final hurrah here from Krot trying to push on through, but I see he's making good progress. BTRTs and superior combos are fantastic QQC fighters. T8 UK gets sniped at the last minute. Yeah! You didn't choke indeed. You did not choke. That was a pretty impressive comeback. Where's the last one? Ah. Good beacons, good beacons. That was a really fantastic match from both sides. Really close in KDs here. Only a 25 point difference, or 35? Yeah, 25. I can do math. I swear. Yeah, difference between both sides, so pretty fantastic stuff. And both sides played out really well. Krot was doing a very good job holding onto that southern center for a long period of time, using his armored vehicles efficiently, and Greyhound kind of managed to sliver his way through. Just holding onto the CV rise at southern side for so long gave him a pretty good point advantage. And just fighting over the forest and delta, and with motorized deck, you do a pretty good job. And I do like seeing, or the USSR is a bit more of a traditional deck, of course, in Wargame. It's always been pretty strong and pretty standard. But I do like seeing more weird specialized stuff. A motorized deck is always so much fun because you really lack heavy tank firepower, which is so classic in Wargame. Using their super heavy tanks efficiently to blow anything that comes in front of you, but having to rely on those airplanes and helicopters and small light vehicles with lighter cannons and try to maneuver around is always a very fun proposition. And of course, the fantastic infantry of the Faustjägers. Yeah, really, really good match from both sides. An absolute joy to cast. And, well, I'm going to leave it off at, yeah, it has been another Rangaroo Wargame cast. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, as usual, please just take it easy.